Hey, this is Willard Crafto, and this is going to be a little demonstration of the dash components of a 1999 Freightliner Classic XL.
I'm always aware of your current position. I just hold out to the perfect condition. Coming alive. Whoa. Heat of the night. Whoa. Now is the time. Whoa. Don't try to hide. Whoa. Cause I'm gonna hold you like an animal. Coming alive. Whoa. Heat of the night. Whoa. Now is the time. Whoa. Don't try to hide.
So starting off down here, we've got the ignition, and you actually don't turn this to start the motor. There's the engine start button right beside it, right there. Your override / check button. What this does is, let's say you have a problem with the motor and it shuts down. This won't override the idle shut off because it doesn't have idle shut off, because it's a 99 and they didn't even put that in until probably 2010 or so. So definitely this ain't gonna have it. There's your utility light switch, which doesn't do anything because we wired it up differently. And I think this may do something. Bat boost, I'm not sure what it does. Here's your turn signal thingy. And this turn signal. And then there's your flashers. You pull it like that. There's the brand in case you're curious. Right here we have the, starting over here actually. Over here we have the water temperature gauge and the oil pressure. This is called a pyrometer. This measures the exhaust temperature, but the gauge works, but the what's it called? The thermocouple, I think it's called, or better known as the pyrometer probe, does not work. So we have to put a new probe in. Right here is your tachometer. Pretty simple. The truck's not running, obviously. Right here's the speedometer. The light socket in there's burnt out. It's not just the light, it's the whole socket. Now, the gauge works, but not very well. It'll go probably kind of like that. Even at, like, let's say you're going 50, it'll be at about probably 15, maybe 20. There's your trip odometer and odometer. 572,634. It has 1,000,572,634. It just doesn't have the spot for the one, but it has 1,000,572. So when it hits 2 million, it'll be 0,000,000. Now, Freightliner did this, and it's kind of a interesting thing. There's 3 air gauges. There's an A, a P, and an S. The A stands for applied. Now this stays at 0 till you hit the brakes. So if you hit the brake, it goes up. These 2 are your regular old air. You may think this is for the tractor and that's for the trailer. No. This is primary and that's secondary. The primary air is your air. The secondary is backup air, to where if this air, for some reason, there's an airline busted or you lose the air for whatever reason, that'll kick in and that'll take over. Fuel right there. You got your volts right here, battery volts, and the air suspension. What that does is it dumps the dumps the bags. There's your, what is that switch? Engine fan. You can turn it on automatically. That's the engine fan. Here's the fog lights. It used to turn the bumper lights on, but we wired it to right there. That turns everything else on. Panel dimmer. It's a new dimmer. No, these knobs didn't come on here. Headlights. And the interrupt. That'll basically go like, let's say the lights are on, it'll go like that. Right here we got your windshield wipers. Heated and power mirrors it has, which is actually pretty neat. AC controls your recirculate and fresh button. There was a little black thing there, but it fell off. Your fan speed, and then it has the old style, well, it's kind of hard to see. It has the sliders. Down here we got, well, forget this. Okay. Is there any way I can make that like a... Oh! That's better. Right there's your power locks. Power windows that run by air, oddly enough. Your trailer and tractor air brakes. This thing has a double jake. This switch turns on, or jakes 2 of the cylinders. This one does 4, because it's an inline 6. There's your 5th wheel slide. And the axle differential basically makes all the rear axles drive. Air suspension, which is on right now. There's a light that says that it's on. The air suspension light is on. Now I'll light up these gauges so you can see them better. This one is your turbo boost transmission, and your forward and rear somethings. Right there, that switch turns these gauges on. This turns the bumper lights. This is your cruise control on and off, and that's your set. Now, something cool it does when it's idling, there's the shifter. It has an Eaton Super 10. Something cool it does when it's idling is, like, let's say it's idling, and when you just go tick, tick on the switch, just like push it up like this, like that, it'll go higher and higher. So it'd be probably, oh, that went back down. Okay. So it'd probably be about there, maybe 500, and sometimes when you high idle, you put it all the way up to 900. Because this doesn't have a high idle switch, so you can just do that and crank it up and it'll go to 900. I mean, it'll go higher than that, but you should probably just leave it at 900 radio that has Sirius XM. And that's pretty much it. So, if you're curious as to why these gauges are a whole lot dimmer than these, it's because they're all LED. But these were not used nearly as much as these. There's a place where we got an upper bunk window. We had to replace it. And there's a place where we got it. We got it Alpha Classic. And I want to get all the light sockets out of there, so maybe it'll be that bright. So, yeah, there was a cover over that, but it's gone. So, anyway, that's the end of this video here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.